Alright, we'll get started momentarily. I think we are underway. So, first things first is they're all going to start off with Brightman.
So usually in this kind of setting with the Mega Man 4 speed runs, you don't necessarily have to start with Bright or Pharaoh or anything. Usually a lot of beginners will start with Toadman, even though the stage is hard. Toad isn't a terribly hard fight. I think that's why a lot of people, when they start off, will try that route first. But usually when you start getting into the speed runs, it's either Bright or Pharaoh, and it just kind of depends on the strats that you want to do. The balloon strats that you want from Pharaoh, a lot of people will start first with that one. But if you don't really care to use the balloons here on the grasshopper stage, portion of the stage here, a lot of people prefer to start with Bright too. So both runners are going to go with Bright, and off to a pretty good start here.
Yep.
What you're going to want to do right here to kind of get lag out of the way here is try to negate these big totem pole pillars as quick as you can. Unfortunately, JP took a little bit of death there falling off, but that will definitely happen. And of course, RNG, this is the first real introduction to this RNG heavy game right now. With these crickets, you want them to take the biggest hop as possible. The small hops, will waste time. Sometimes you're going to look at those red balls that are coming there on JP's screen, and you'll take some damage boost to slide off there to quickly get onto the other grasshopper.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, too, when it comes to these grasshoppers, though. So, with the lag input and such.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's a lot of this run is kind of learn how to manage the lag that is in this game. It is somewhat heavy. So, GND is getting into the Brightman fight. And the secret in this is no matter what you want to do, you want to start off with 3 charge shots and a lemon. You can do whatever way you want, but as long as it's in that first 4 that you have a 3 charge or 1 lemon, the rest of the shots will be charge shots, and he won't freeze you because it sets it up where the health for Brightman will not be on 16, 8, or 4. That's where he will freeze you. And he can either jump into you or shoot at you. And if he jumps at you, like many of the Mega Man 4 bosses in this game, they hit like trucks. And it also wastes time and slows things down. So these guys both set it up nicely, manipulated them well, and got the kill. And for JP taking a death there, he's not far behind GND.
Mm-hmm.
So, Coops, you want to tell everybody right now this little balloon get here and the scariness of it?
Okay, so there is a secret in the Pharaoh Man stage, though, that a secret path that leads you to the balloon weapon, though, where it's like, I don't know if you can say if it's like an Easter egg or something or not, but it's like a but nonetheless, it's like a secret, though, and as you may see in a few seconds, though, like you'll see that GND is going to get the boomerang, and he's also using Brightman's weapon to freeze up everything on the screen, though.
Yep, they're going to use that Bright right there because they have that little fly there that can kind of snipe you from the top, so you have to be a little bit careful.
And as you see right here, though, like once you get the secret weapon, though, I mean, you're not done with the stage, though. You go into the next part of the level.
Once you do that, you'll get the balloon, and that's going to be a very, very important tool that you're going to use in this game. It will come in handy, especially for some of the further stages. The next one you'll see in Ring. Very balloon heavy strats that'll go into that, but it really gets utilized heavy in Cossack 1 and 2, as you'll see a little bit later on. Once you get the balloon, it fills up your health no matter where you're at, and it takes you halfway through to the checkpoint. These guys have made their way into the Pharaoh fight right now. Pharaoh, kind of same thing, a little bit RNG heavy, when sometimes really you're going to want Pharaoh to kind of have heavy cement feet and kind of sit there and just shoot at you instead of jump around. Of course, GND has a little bit of a an active Pharaoh right now, and it appears that JP does as well. So they both kind of got the same RNG. That's what you want to do right there, is you want to have Pharaoh kind of sit there. And usually the closer you get to his face, the more likely he'll kind of sit there and do his shot thing. But sometimes even then it won't cooperate. But both guys getting through it really well.
Yeah.
Now, you'll see here coming up, this is where the balloon starts to get a little bit more useful as the ring stage. Right here in this first section, the balloon strats come out where you can quickly ascend up this vertical kind of climb that you're going to have right here. I don't know what JP is going to do with it, but I know G&D is going to definitely try to utilize this as much as possible to get through. Right there with the balloon there popping against the wall, you'll see that it never appeared on screen. You can kind of manipulate it a little bit to get a jump off of a non-existent balloon, where you get the balloon to kind of pop in a certain way where it's almost on the entire screen, or it's almost entirely on the right. It just almost barely appears, but you'll get it to pop. And what you can do is you can have a couple frame window. I don't know exactly how many it is, but you can actually utilize it where you can jump off of it without being on screen. And that's what both these guys did, and they did it really well.
Now, as you see here on this Hippo robot screen, though, like, you can actually skip the fight by just jumping right through it, though, and then there's another like mini boss screen on G&D's screen to where this thing shoots out rings, though. Now I think in one of those fights you're forced to fight one of those, not two of them, those ring shooters. But the Hippo fights, you can actually skip all of them.
Yeah, you can. It depends on what you can do, and usually depends on your health. The second ring guy, you can do a D-boost through him, a damage, just kind of like you're doing with the Hippos right there. GND, though, is going to have, unless if he gets a health drop, he's going to have no choice but to get the fight done. And unfortunately, I think it looks like he's out of Pharaoh, which is absolutely not what he's looking for. And JP falls, and that might buy G&D a little bit of time to try to maybe get some health out of this.
I'm good. Yeah, so yeah, so gotta be kind of. He might have to. Yeah, he's taking a sacrifice on a death, though, to refuel on health.
Yeah, he's gonna want to get some sort of health drop here for Pharaoh to make the ring fight easier.
Oh, he took an unfortunate fall there.
So this is a really tough part of the stage here. Those platforms can disappear from underneath you. The first ones that are rainbow color will go from left to right. These ones kind of come at you from right to left. GND's not going to have enough Pharaoh power to get through. He used it up throughout the stage, so he's going to have to go the Buster only kind of strats with this, which can be done, but it's going to take a little bit longer because it's not the main weakness right there. JP, as you can see, damage boost the front way through, and he has enough Pharaoh power to finish the fight here the regular way. But GND is going to have to be a little bit more careful, charging up his shot, avoiding the rings, and avoiding the heavy damage that ring does when you bump into him. He's going to have to be careful, but he got the job done. That was a nice strat that he has probably practiced. And unfortunately,
the rings are pretty tricky. The rings are pretty tricky to maneuver, though, because one of it goes up and then it goes back down, and then it goes the other way around, you know.
So JP, unfortunately, taking a game over. He's going to have to do the stage all over again.
Yeah.
While GND will be moving on into the Dustman stage, another stage that is very, very difficult. Managing a lot with lag and the Dust Crushers. This is always a really scary point of the run for runners, too, and one of the heavier reset points in this run. So GND is going to start off with Bright Strat. Sometimes people will break out Pharaoh right away. Kind of depends on your comfort level. The Pharaoh, you can pick off the guys that come from the pit. Bright just kind of freezes everything. It's a little bit of a safer strat. It's one I like to use personally. Just a little bit, it feels better to me. And what GND right now is doing is trying to get through these blocks as much as possible. Take these ladybugs off the screen to reduce the lag and get through here as fast as possible. He skipped a couple full sections of the blocks there, so he made his trip through a little bit quicker. JP is making his way through ring right now. and G&D is going into a scary part with the Crushers. So here with the Crushers, he's going to bring Ring out. Most people will use these Ring strats to get through here. Has a little bit of a wider cut through these bricks. G&D's probably going to take a little bit safe route here right now. Try to get through here because you get crushed in there and you have to start all over again with it. Nice job to get through there, and JP goes into the ring fight.
Yeah, not too much of a problem for G&D though. Meanwhile, JP is doing another fight with Ringman.
Nice fight.
And it seems like he got down well.
Yep, nice fight. He just had enough Pharaoh and enough health to get through there. Really excellent job there. G&D had an unwanted screen transition, but he recovered nicely, and he's going to go into the Dust fight. Dustman has a really can have some heavy RNG with him. Dustman sucks is the big meme of the the whole thing. But as you can see right now, you don't want him to kind of suck at you, and unfortunately G&D is having some really bad luck here with the RNG. You can damage boost to snap him out of that. Unfortunately, these Robot Masters hit like trucks in this game, and he doesn't have enough health, and now he's going to have to go through and finish him off with Buster because he ran out of ring. But he does well enough to advance through there. Really an unfortunate RNG setup there with Dustman. Hopefully in the refights he's a little bit friendlier, but nice job to get through, and he's going to move on to Skull here in a second.
Yeah.
JP making his way through nicely through that tough section. Those jumps can be a little bit scary because if the lag gets a hold of you, it can almost kind of like pull you back like a magnet. And sometimes those jumps you're really terrified to get through. G&D going into the Skull stage, we're going to see the major zip of this game right here with the balloon strat. He's going to set it up where he's going to look at this little enemy. When he gets kind of like halfway through the wall there, he's going to shoot that balloon like he did, jump on the balloon, and then damage boost through the wall. He did a nice job doing that. G&D is very seasoned at it. And he's going to probably keep the balloon for a good chunk of this stage until breaking out Bright about halfway through. Or he's going to go to Bright right now, which, you know, it all kind of depends, maybe because his health was a little bit low, but sometimes a lot of people like to keep the balloon through Eddie so they can do the climb up the ladders a little bit quicker.
So JP's now in the Dustman fight stage, and like what Stunt Rooster said though is that Dustman has some pretty like heavy RNG though. Yeah, Dust sucks. Yeah, that's the meme in the chat though. But yeah, and but it seems like not too much of a problem for JP as he will move on to Skullman stage.
Yep, and G&D's about to make his way to Skull. He, oh, and he slid off. That's a tough section because there's a couple tough jumps in there. Unfortunately, that tends to happen. That's another place where you sometimes miss a jump. A lot of times it's in that first one. That's a really long jump, but sometimes it's tough to get out of that slide cancel, and sometimes you'll slide off. But G&D wasn't too far away from the checkpoint. Fortunately, the checkpoint seems to be a little bit late in the stage, so he won't lose too much time, but he's just going to have to be careful here. Nice correction because, like I said, that jump is really long, and he did a nice job there to kind of check himself in midair, and he's going to get through safely here now to the Skullman fight, which his weakness is Dust Crusher, and he'll kind of sit there. Skullman will kind of react with you. You can have a staring contest. If you jump, he jumps. He's kind of a reactionary type boss. 7 hits of Dust Crusher will take care of it. The major RNG with this is the Skull Shield. If you're going to get the 1 second shield or the 4 second shield, G&D, was punished for his Dustman RNG, I guess, if you will. So Skullman was nice to him. He got the short shield, so that worked out nicely for him and a really good kill.
Yeah.
JP making his way through the latter portions of the Skullman stage. He's gonna use the freeze here and slide right off. That's kind of the tough one. It's sometimes that slide cancel is not exactly what you want. It doesn't really react to you sometimes. I found that out yesterday when I slid right off the edge and didn't get the balloon. Just it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta bounce back with it, and JP will. He's tough-minded, and he's gonna get through this stage just fine. G&D, as you'll see, is in Dive Man stage, and he's got to be careful when he does slides through here. The water, you have to check yourself out of the slide. You can't really jump out of it. You can cancel it by usually pressing left on your D-pad. So he has to be careful. And there's a couple sections where, especially where the lone pit where the wire is, you can easily slide off if you're not careful. So he's making his way up through Eddie and then up into the second half of this stage here. JP with a nice kill on Skullman. And a couple unfortunate deaths, but JP is still in this. G&D's had a couple of issues there in ring as well, so this is still anybody's race. This is still very close here.
Yeah, well, now the whale fights, though, sub-boss fights, that is. Now, unlike the hippo fights and the ring fights from Ringman stage, though, you're forced to actually fight them, though. So what you do is that you use Brightman's weapon to freeze them, and then you shoot with your Mega Buster shot.
And the top level mashers here that can get through that in one sitting, I'm totally jealous of, because it saves so much time to do it that way, to get through in one cycle rather than do sometimes 3 or 4. So kudos to those that can mash really heavy. As you'll see here in the Dive Man fight, Skull Shield is the weakness. You can kind of set this up to be a really quick fight. You just have to make sure that you jump in time, because Dive does come and hits hard and hits heavy. But G&D does a nice job of dodging him and jumping just before, so the shield will kind of bump into him, and he gets as many shots as he can. Usually after 3 dives, or 3 charges of Dive Man at you, he'll shoot a missile at you. Or if you're too far away from him, he'll shoot missiles at you until you kind of get closer. So that's why you'll see runners kind of stay a little bit closer to him, and so they can get not only the shield shots in as quick as possible, but to have him avoid doing the missiles.
Now, G&D is going to Drillman stage, though. Now, Drillman stage is actually pretty hard, though, because when it comes to like sliding and such, like later on in the level, though, you'll be like you could like slide off to the platform to dying, though, you know.
Yeah, it's very tough. There's a lot of spikes. There's some pits in here right now. All these bats that can give you trouble and take a lot of health out. You got to be careful, kind of navigating your way through.
Yeah.
JP just with enough health to get through Dive Man. That's a nice kill. Let's see if he can get that perfect pixel there to skip the screen a little bit. Looks like he got it. Nice.
Yep.
That'll save probably about 2 seconds of time, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. I'm not sure exactly. But it definitely does save a little bit of time. You can do that also in some of these other stages that you've seen.
Yeah, so this is the part right here where like you have to turn on the light switches, though, and it activates platforms, though. Yeah,
and the important thing is there, if you miss those switches, those platforms won't appear, and then they don't appear, then you're going to fall straight into a pit, unfortunately. So you got to make sure you hit them as you go through. He had enough bright to get through the stages. This is a very heavy bright stage, as many are. The dive, or the
Drill Man.
Dive Man drills you, and Drill Man dives. So yeah, I always get these guys confused, it seems like. But another one of those really heavy RNG bosses, and G&D is getting pretty successful through it. He got through everything but that one little pixel there. But usually you'll see a little strat coming on later in the refights that gets rid of that little problem. But Drill Man loves a dive with 1 left, and he sure did it again that time. But overall, pretty good RNG for G&D, and a really nice fight.
I thought I was gonna count. I thought he wasn't gonna do it at all. But I think I only counted like either 0 or 1 though before it went to like 1 or 2 though.
Yeah, he almost got away with it there, but you know,
almost had it perfectly. Yeah.
Drill Man had to be the star just one more time. So JP is about heading his way to the Drill Man fight himself there. Kind of fortunate he didn't kiss that one little robot enemy there. He was going to fall in the pit, so I'm glad he avoided that.
Well, that's for sure, yeah.
See, G&D is in Toadman stage now. This is the last in this route for the 8 Robot Masters. Bright is extremely heavily used in this stage right now to freeze all these enemies so he can get through as fast as possible. Really, the slide mechanics come in handy here. And usually the faster you can slide and move through the stage, you can keep everything frozen longer. You did a really nice job there. You just got to be careful with the weather that's here. That rain will push against you, so you have to really slide to the edge to make sure that you can make that jump through there. And you'll see right here, right now, on this first mini boss that you were about to see, you can freeze him just as you enter the screen, and once you do that, he'll kind of freeze in place, and you'll hit kind of his hitbox, as you'll see him bounce off right there. But that, as long as you have your iframes going right now, you can slide right through that and skip that fight, because if you do not skip the Gary fight, the Gary Snail fight, you'll be spending a long time there dodging his eyeballs or his missiles that fly at you. So it's a very scary stage, but G&D did very well to get through it as quick as possible. And onto the Toad fight, which is pretty free, 7 drill shots, and he'll be done with them.
Yeah, or as everyone else would say, evil Gary the Snail, you know.
Yeah. Big Gary, you don't want any part of him, that's for sure.
No, he can go back to SpongeBob.
JP's gonna make his way through here as we wait for GND to get his weapons for his final weapons to head into the Cossack stages.
Yep, going on to Cossack 1, and so you may think like Dr. Cossack though might be might replace Dr. Wily, and Dr. Wily is retired though, but you'll find out in a minute. You'll find out in a few minutes though on that if he's really the bad guy or not.
I think Wily's done. There's no way he could do this 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
He's getting too old for that stuff.
Well, he needs to retire then.
So at the start of the stage there, you saw GND slide over to the left. What he did there is there's a little hidden E-tank there, a frozen juice box. As my good buddy Iraq Bet would say, no juice box left behind. And GND is going to heed his advice and take that. Real quick, and it's not the quickest one you can grab. The Cossack 4 E-tank, the second one, is the quickest one you can do, but it hardly wastes any time, maybe a couple of seconds, and it's good to have one in the reserves here. You'll see coming through this first section, GND hit that little guy flying through. That's an unfortunate part of this right now. You got to really make sure that you're sliding right to the edge, kind of like you do with the Pharaoh, to make sure that you're going to clear that in time. Some people will use Bright to get through that section because it freezes everything.
Oh man, he did it again. He's kind of struggling here.
Yeah, the only thing that's kind of helping him right now is that at least he's really close to the checkpoint. But GND is having a hard time right now. He might want to consider Bright just to get through this section.
Man, third time in a row.
He's letting JP kind of back into this, but he might just want to go back to what works for him, and it's going to look like he's going to continue on with his strats. So I don't know if people will take Pharaoh out there sometimes too. I usually have only seen it really be oh, and he fell again.
Oh man.
Oh, and GND game's over, and now JP in the lead.
Yeah.
So JP now, let's see what he does, what kind of strats he takes here.
So both players have at least one game over here.
JP did a really nice job there. These platforms are pretty scary because the ice physics are definitely real. You'll see him kind of turn around, and he'll make that Skull Sniper Joe man kind of disappear there, glitch him out, and then take the balloon over. That's what GND was trying to do, but he unfortunately got picked off there. And this is kind of what we talked about, why it's really important to get the balloon, because the balloon will come in handy, especially in the Cossack 1 and 2 stages. G&D back to the spot to kind of give him a little bit of trouble, and this time he looks like he's going to get through it. Just fine. Do you want to talk about this fight that JP's about to have?
Yeah, so this is Cossack boss fight number 1, though, and so the easier way you can defeat this, like, Mothra boss from, you know, it's like a robot version of Mothra from Zelda Link to the Past, so it's you use Ringman's weapon.
Yep, 7 shots of Ring. He kind of has a tough hitbox there in the mouth, but the problem is the Ring has 1 pixel, and you kind of see that the Ring will rotate in various different ways, so sometimes it's really hard to get it to actually hit in that hitbox. So you'll see sometimes a lot of missed Ring shots, but that's totally common. It's really tough to get that to land where you want to, but both guys did a nice job, and
Yeah.
away they go to Cossack 2, where JP is going to try to use the balloon strats to climb up the wall quickly, and he did a really nice job. That is a much quicker strat there, and he's going to try to climb over the section with balloons. So he's going to take damage boosts. He's going to use these guys just the damage and slide across here. He's going to balloon up, take all these refills so he has enough balloon to climb, and that was a really, really nice job to negotiate that whole thing. The only problem is he's a little bit low on health, but fortunately I think the game designers think of everything. There is a health refill just up the road here that he can utilize if he doesn't want to use an E-tank. It's a nice climb up the wall there with the balloon and avoiding the bubble bat. And now he has pretty decent health.
Yep.
D&D making his way through that scary little section there too to speed through the balloons. And it is much quicker to slide through there and use the balloon rather than use the rush jet. Rush jet will pick up a little bit of lag on your way. As D&D makes his way through halfway through the stage, JP going into the square machine fight, which, place your bets now, what is the cycle you're going to see? I say 2, 3.
Yeah, you either count to 1, 2, or 3.
And I'm already wrong. So if you see it coming really hot at you the first time, you know you're going to get a 3 cycle. But what you're going to want to do here is utilize your dust shield weapon there and kind of bounce up, down right there to avoid all the damage and to further get the hits in. And JP's getting a 3-3. That's rough.
Yeah.
That is not the friendly RNG that you're hoping for here.
No.
Both guys are getting kind of hit hard with it a little bit here. We'll see what G&D has. I'll stick with the 2-3 on G&D. But nice job. Nice 2-cycle fight there. That's what you're going to want to get. And oh, look at G&D getting the rare 1 first. Let's see if he takes advantage of this. And hopefully you can get about 5 hits in. That would be absolutely ideal. It looks like he got 4. Sometimes the hit damage is a little bit rough there and it doesn't really register.
See if he gets... Oh, that's a 3.
Yeah, he got a 3, but he'll take that one for sure.
Yeah.
And G&D, nice job. Get through in 2 cycles as well. Not too far behind. As we go into Cossack 3, as you'll see, JP is having that ever so fun auto scroller that we all just love and sleep through here. But you can't really necessarily sleep through the stage. As you can see, there are some definite hazards. And this is one place you're not going to want to die, and you can't really speed through it. You can't slide through it. You can't rush jet or balloon strat through it. You just got to wait it out. So dying in this stage is definitely it's not advised to do. Let's put it that way. And really, especially in all these Cossack stages, because especially if you make it to the boss and you die to the boss, you're going back to the halfway point. So it really in the Wily stages too. So you don't want any part of it. Right now, JP doing a nice job. He got through the first half of it. G&D's patiently waiting for these strawberries and turrets to go away. JP is going to have a little bit of a platform section right now with some of these flying Saturns. Really, you mostly have to wait through this. You can get through it as fast as maybe possible to get those Saturns off the screen to save maybe a second or so through this section, but mostly it's just kind of a waiting game.
Yeah.
Bad squishy for G&D.
Now I have a question to ask you. So which actual video game would be the first auto scroll game, first game to feature auto scroll? Mario 3?
Well, there's probably someone out there that knows better than me. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess Mario 3.
All I know is I do not like auto scrollers one bit.
No.
They're boring.
Well, you got to have a lot of patience though too.
JP making it to the twin cockroach fight here, and really kind of an easy little fight as long as you stay on the platforms. I'm not trying to jinx them at all. Usually 5 hits right there with the ball will take care of it. He just missed him there, but no big deal. Still had a nice shot there to get him down at the bottom. And advance. He still has a pretty good amount of Pharaoh. He might opt to fill that up here at the beginning of Cossack 4. There's some health. Let's see, G&D, is he going to go for the super swag? Yeah, he went for the levitating moonwalk. That is like, his swag game's on point right now. That was pretty sweet for G&D. What he did right there is that 5th hit, he jumps up and damages that cockroach with one ball and then shoots it down diagonally to hit that second one, and that just saves you a little bit more of health and quickly gets kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. And he got that top cockroach kill there at the end, which is pretty much as good as you can do it. That was a really nice fight by G&D.
So
here
JP is now on Cossack Castle number 4.
This is what Koops was kind of hinting at. Is Cossack the bad guy that we're thinking of all along?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it looks like he is.
JP making his way through this stage, if you will. It's not too terribly long. He has the Buster out because this is what he is going to use to deal with Cossack right here in his little pinchy machine. Now it depends on what version of the game you're playing. The Japanese Rockman version will have the pinchy move kind of right away at you, while the US version will kind of hold in place there, and you can get a couple seconds to take a couple charge shots. He lets you have a freebie or 2 before he starts doing it. Now you'll kind of see that he's sliding back and forth right now and sliding over to the right hand side of the screen, and it kind of just freezes Cossack in place so he can get in his shots without worrying about getting picked up. And,
yeah, Cossack's got his own crane game.
Couple misses, but he got it. Let's see, and then Proto brings Miss Kalinka into the picture, saves the day there, and I can't believe Wiley's up to it again. What a dog! He's
back.
What a dog!
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like there's going to be one more castle.
Yep.
G&D with a pretty nice fight. Got a nice left side kill there, so he didn't have to worry about walking all the way from the right hand side of the screen. So Wiley 1 is a special stage. You're going to see the theme of it real quickly. Where you were going to see Mets, and more Mets. And then one little slidey spike guy or 2. But this is a very Met heavy stage. Followed off by the by Vet Daddy. Or Met Daddy.
Yeah.
We'll see him here in a few seconds there. Will JP pull out some Rush Marine strats coming up? I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, though.
You never know. No, he's going to opt to skip Rush Marine. I can't believe it. Such an underutilized weapon.
Yeah.
So, fighting his way through here, this stage, again, has to worry about the water and the sliding. Has to be really careful about sliding too close to the edge. Unless he's going to try to cancel it off himself. He did a nice job. Kind of getting through that right now. There's your lone enemy that is not going to be unmet. But the use of the rush jet right there to skip those blocks are crucial. Saves a lot of time, and you don't have to worry about those spikes too much. You just got to make sure you get off the rush jet in time. GND is right behind him, making his way up and towards the Met Daddy fight as well. Just a couple more screens and he'll be there. So Met Daddy gives you a couple of different cycles. You can give a short cycle or a longer cycle. That's kind of the longer one. You want to try to get about 5 shots in right there. Take a little bit of damage from the mini Mets that come down, so then you can slide through and have a little bit more room. You don't want to get trapped by him because Met Daddy hits heavy. And you're going to see just before he lands, JP did a really nice job to get that to be a 3 cycle. If Met Daddy lands on the ground, he will freeze you in place, and then you're kind of at the will of the Mets dropping on you, as well as not being able to shoot at him before his shell closes. So a good fight.
Yeah, he causes mini earthquakes though. So that means like if your timing is off on the jumps though, then you will freeze on the ground.
And so far having a pretty dang good fight here as JP goes into a favorite of a lot of the speedrunners, Wiley 2. It is a pretty fun stage. It is a pretty rush jet heavy stage. As you'll see, he's going to be utilized as a tool and a jumping platform here many times over. And D&D with a very nice Met Daddy fight as well, as he is, again, right behind JP. This is still anybody's match right now. There's a lot of RNG. There's a lot of RNG. There's a lot of danger that comes up here right now, especially with those refights. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this finishes out here. JP making like you said, kind of using this rush jet right now, utilizing the buster to shoot everything and keeping the dog out to save the menuing. Nice little platform jump there to skip going through all those bubble bats. He did a really nice job. A lot of times runners are going to have the dog face you towards the wall, so you don't cancel them out and send the bubble bats off and having to reset the stage, if you will. But he did a nice job with having the dog face left and still getting them on the platform. Want to talk about the taco trash fight here coming up? There's a special little way to do it. Oh no, JP!
Oh man, well, maybe I might have to like hold that thought for a little, because I think maybe I don't know how that happened though, you know. He's getting close to that taco trash fight.
Split off. I feel like I'm going to get blamed for jinxing him. I apologize.
Our apologies, guys.
Our apologies. So there's just like that. We say that it's anybody's race still, and just like that with that unfortunate death there for JP. You know, G&D is right ahead of him by about a screen now, half a screen. Just like that, kind of past them. So this is gonna be a great finish. So both guys are gonna opt to take the jet off on the second version of it. If you can do those short little slides over those bricks, it's a little bit quicker and it saves the lag of jet being on the screen. Let's talk about this fight. This is what we want.
Okay, now as I was saying about the taco trash fight, now the way how to like maneuver this though is like use like you just saw was use Toadman's weapon though, and then you can go right behind it. You know, with it taking a lot of damage though, you can like do the invisibility glitch to where you can like shoot your ringman's weapon, and then it'll do a lot of damage on.
Both guys are about a second off. This is a fantastic finish that we're about to experience here.
Oh yeah.
So the refights here, you're going to get a last chance here at a little bit of candy that's on the stage here. These guys are going to want to fill up their ring, their dust, and their Pharaoh, more than likely, and maybe grab a juice box. Both guys aren't thirsty enough to grab them, so they're going to pass by them. And one little section here for health to fill up on for both guys to get their last chances to get their weapons filled up as much as they need them.
Yes, I hope I did my explanation about taco trash. Was it right to you about what I said?
Yeah, I mean, you use Toad to offset the the refill meter, which takes forever in this game. I don't know why they chose to make it so long, but then yeah, then once you use the drill to hit him in the face there, it just kind of sets it off, and you jump right into his hitbox, and then you just spam him with the ring. I think you did a good job.
Spam the ring, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, man.
So usually you're going to be kind of refilling dust here, so this is a kind of a soft weakness here for Pharaoh Man. And also it'll save some menuing to go to the next boss for the main weapon, which will be the main weakness of Skullman down here at the bottom corner to the left here. So G&D had a nice fight to get him over a little bit more towards the teleporter. JP was a little bit further over to the right, which cost him a second or so. But still, both guys had a really good fight with them and didn't have too much of a troublesome RNG.
Yeah. So now both players refight against Skullman, and they're now going, and now G&D is in the Dive Man fight along with JP.
Trying to keep Dive over as far as he can to the teleporter there, so you can get in and out right away. Both guys did a really good job there. So what they're going to do right now is use Skull to try to do the same thing that you do to cheese them a little bit with either the Pharaoh Ball or the charge shots right there. Optimally, you would like to have enough Skull to get 5 hits in on them, but 3 will also do the trick. The only reason you want 5 is you want enough Toad Shot to offset Drill Man if you don't have enough health. I still think G&D had enough, so it probably didn't. I might be talking out of my rear end there, but he had enough health. Sometimes I know I don't have enough health if I only get 3 in, so good job there. Let's just see what RNG Man has to do.
Yep, with Drill Man. That's our we can say RNG number 1 though, because this guy's not the only one.
He's still got dust to deal with, and G&D had a little bit rough. We hope he's going to stay up here just a little bit longer, and he got him good, because if he was going to dive again, that was going to be probably some major trouble. He was going to lose probably another 6 to 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So kind of the breather here of the fights right now. Toadman kind of setting up before you go into the last 2 with Ring and Dust. Usually Dustman is saved for last because Ring is the first weakness of the machine as well that you're going to use. So just saves the menuing. JP with a really nice fight.
Yeah.
Just trying to duck him out a little bit more here. Looks like he's just maybe got out of rhythm there a little bit, but still got the job done.
Yeah.
And we'll see what RNG Man number 2 will do here. So far, a little bit of jumping. He's going to take a bit of damage there, but he still has some E-tanks. Hopefully he remembers that. But he does have a pretty good chunk of health left. G&D had a little bit of a jumpy Dustman too, but on the way to the Wily Machine. So the first part, plug your ears, folks. Usually it's about 10 ring shots. We'll take it down to 1 health. What you're going to want to do is then break out Drill with 1 left. The Drill will offset the health meter and take some damage away from the second form. And it's not the Drill Bomb that does the damage, it's the explosion of the Drill Bomb. You'll see the Drill will bounce off sometimes. You have to actually explode it yourself by hitting the shoot button and detonating it right before. Really pretty dang good fight though for JP. G&D right on his tail right now. He's missing a couple shots. He's going to have to use an E-tank here to safely get through here, because even if he does take down the machine and he gets hit by one of those cotton candy balls right there, he will take damage, and you don't want to have a double KO and have to redo that fight. So JP's going to go into the final fight with Wily here.
Yeah, this is the ultimate fight against Wily.
So Pharaoh Ball, it will be the weakness right now. You'll have a handful of caterpillars here to try to get some health if you're a little bit low on Pharaoh. And he has enough, he feels, that he's going to go through and get the fight done. He's going to have to be a little bit careful, though, because if you run out of Pharaoh, you're going to be in trouble with having to use ring, because that's the only other option you're going to have. You're going to hopefully want to get some double hits in here.
Yeah.
2 more hits should do it. You just got to be careful and not take the shot out there.
1 more hit should
And that'll
do it. Yeah.
Nice by JP.
Got it. All right, GG's in the chat, everybody.
JP with an official SRL time of 45:12.
Yep.
And GND finishes with a 45:35. Nice race. Really nice job. Oh, what the heck happened there? There we go. No, that doesn't show up. There we go. Clicked the wrong button.
Yeah.
Really, really good race. This is exactly what I expected, Coops. 2 very evenly matched players, and it came right down to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it came down to like with not too far of a split time, you know.
Yeah, only 23 seconds officially on the SRL.
Yeah.
Chat came out. I'm gonna see if anybody's going to join us here for an interview. I don't know.
Let's see if we can get JP in for an interview. Stan, can you find JP for me though?
Yeah,
or can someone find JP so we can get him in for an interview?
Yeah, they said they're gonna come in, so we'll see if they get their invite here.
Okay.
So yeah, really, really good race. That was awesome. Back and forth. Like I said, everything I expected with it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Waiting on these guys to see if they're gonna come in here.
Uh-huh.
So if you're interested, well, I'm trying to figure this out here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're having a little bit of problem with them getting to the right spot here. We're gonna see. Maybe this won't be meant to be, but we're gonna try it out here. We'll wait for a couple more minutes. But if you guys are out there that are really interested and want to continue to watch fantastic races,
Yeah, you guys can follow all sorts of like speed gaming channels here on Twitch, and then they'll be eventually be rewatched on YouTube. So it's as simple as that.
Looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty with them meeting up. I'll give it one more second here to hear from JP. Okay, it looks like they're gonna just pass because they're having a little bit of problems getting over to this part right now. But yeah, if you want to continue to watch more great races, the seventh race in this is going to be tonight here. This is a very busy day. It's going to be an awesome race in the Cossack Cup. Mellow Flows and Orel 509. Both are tremendous runners, sub 40 runners. This is going to be a fantastic race. Should be very, very close as well. That will be going on at 10 o'clock tonight. So please stick around and check that out. This actually concluded the quarterfinals now. The winner here, JP, is going to go on and face Wader in the next round. And into the quarterfinals that should start pretty soon. The Cossack Cup actually, after tonight's race with Mellow Flows and Orel, will wrap up tomorrow. I know Mad Mega's racing, and I believe he's the first Squidman, and that will complete the first round for both cups. So this is moving along well, and going into the second week next week. I already know that there's one match scheduled with Ohan and Tired Monkey on Saturday. So it's going to keep going along, so keep looking for it here on the Speed Gaming channels. I want to thank both racers for a great race, great entertaining race. Coops for your awesome commentary.
Thank you as well, Stunt Rooster.
Thank you, and for everybody that came out and watched and supported these guys. I'm sure they really, really appreciate it. And for the admin here at Speed Gaming to help out in their platform, and as well as all the hard work that's done behind the scenes to make this tournament run. It doesn't go unnoticed. And we all appreciate it. And thank you very much. Like I said, 10 o'clock, come back to Speed Gaming and you'll watch another awesome race. I'm Stunt Rooster.
And I'm Coop17.
And we're going to check out here, and we'll see you here in about an hour, 10 Eastern Daylight Time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.